What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be featuring two different battlers, XXDSuliman and MeridianSounds, who are both running some very spicy teams. The reason I've grouped these submissions together is because XXDSuliman only submitted 7 battles, but their team was incredibly spicy and I wanted to feature it anyway, and usually I ask for around 10 battles, and since Shadow Sneasel was the feature, I figured I'd just pair it with a Shadow Weavile submission that I'd received in the Ultra League. So that's what we're going to do. Now, just a quick disclaimer, my commentary is kind of all over the place in the first battle of this video. Usually I would just restart recording again, but I thought it was kind of funny, so I've just left it in this time. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What's the worst type combination in Pokemon Go for the Go Battle League? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Misdreavus into Diggersby. Awful matchup, so we're going to say swap into our Barbaracle. Gonna go for a cross chop. It's not going to do too much damage, but it is super effective. The opponent lets it go through, and then they come in with a Shadow Venusaur, and look at that Vine Whip damage. That looks like Razor Leaf, for God's sake. The opponent goes for Frenzy Plant before we even make it to a Stone Edge. The opponent did not want to use a shield, and that's fine. Gonna let it go down, come in with our Shadow Sneasel. Why did I say Shadow like that? That sounded so weird, but we're going to shield this up. Unfortunately, they did deny an Ice Shard somehow, but we do get the farm down. They come back in with Diggersby. We go straight for the Avalanche, and they let it go through for whatever reason. I have no idea, but now we swap and we catch the Hydro Cannon onto our Misdreavus. It is all happening in this game 1 here. We're going to be... I can't even speak. We're going to go for the Ominous Wind here, and this will be able to grab the shield from the opponent. At this point, it's also a CMP tie somehow, even though we threw 3 hexes there, which wouldn't align to any integer number of mud shots, so that's strange, but we're going to be able to fully farm them down here. Even if they're back-to-back moves, we could have gone for the charge move there. They were on 1 HP, that would have taken them out, but they weren't, so we get the farm down and we take that game. Forgive the commentary on that first battle, there was just a lot of stuff happening. But into this next battle, we're going to go for an Ominous Wind. We did farm up a ton of energy, so if the opponent isn't familiar with Misdreavus moves, then they would probably end up shielding, because it could be a Shadow Ball or something. We're going to shield, it's just a Bone Club bait, unfortunately, and once again, the opponent did deny us there, which is really unfortunate. That shouldn't be a thing anymore, but it might just be a connection issue, not really sure, but we're going to shield this up, and it is the Shadow Ball, so good shield this time around, and we're going to be able to go for an Ominous Wind into the Marowak. All shields are now down, and from this range it does take out the Marowak. They come in with Sableye. We don't want to give them a farm down, so we swap into our Barbaracle. The opponent makes it to a foul play, it does some decent damage, and now they swap into a Vigoroth. We're going to be able to make it to the back-to-back cross chops before this opponent can fully counter farm us down, so we go for a second cross chop. Will this be enough damage to take them out here? It actually doesn't take them out, but we get the Fury Cutter farm down, and now the opponent comes back in with the Sableye. We can come in with the Sneasel. Well, we can try to anyways, and we do eventually come in with the Sneasel. We'll be able to make it to a charge move, either, doesn't matter. We go for the foul play. They're easily in enough health here where that does take them out, and we take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Misdreavus into Abomasnow, a fairly neutral matchup. We probably do lose it because Misdreavus is just not a good Pokemon, unfortunately. But they're going to go for a Weather Ball, and once again, we're probably going to overfarm. No, we do just go for the Dark Pulse straight away. It probably is more energy efficient than the Ominous Wind, and now we swap into Barbaracle. That seems like an odd choice given they are a Grass type, but they have to go for the Energy Ball to do any meaningful damage, and they actually swap into Alolan Marowak, which is absolutely fine with us, especially when they are running Fire Spin. We do double resist that. We're now going to go for the Stone Edge, and Stone Edge does connect. It does huge damage. We get the Fury Cutter farm down, which is double resisted, by the way. They come back in with a Abomasnow. We're going to let this move go through. Just a Weather Ball. Good call there. And now we swap into our Sneasel. We get the farm down, and what have they got in the back? They've got a Skarmory, so we will be able to go for the Avalanches here. Throw when we get to the back-to-back. We're going to shield up this charge move, of course. Sky Attack grabs our first shield. We've now got back-to-back Avalanches, and this first Avalanche actually nearly takes them out, and one more Ice Shard finishes the job, and we take that game. Going into the next battle, we see a Shadow Machamp in the lead. Very good lead for our Ghost type here. One of the only matchups where Misdreavus probably does comfortably win. And the opponent's going to swap into a Politoed, Shadow Politoed at that. We now swap into our Barbaracle. Not the best matchup, but we could at least fake a potential Grass Knot. The opponent goes for Surf here, and we're going to go for the Stone Edge, full sending it, and Stone Edge does grab the final shield from the opponent. And we're actually going to let this move go through. Weather Ball does take them out. Wait, what? Are they running Surf and Weather Ball? That is a very interesting moveset combination. And as well, we no longer have the alignment we want. So they're going to have a Shadow Machamp aligned to our Shadow Sneasel. We're also letting this move go through. I think this is a big mistake. We're going to go for the Ominous Wind. And from this range, it still doesn't take them out. We come in with the Sneasel. We catch the charge move. Yeah, it's not looking good for us whatsoever, and we do get the farm down, but Machamp, actually no, they come in with Talonflame instead, and that actually allows us to get to an Avalanche. We might be able to win this here. Avalanche barely doesn't take them out, but we will be able to farm them down, but they come in with the Machamp, so good play by the opponent, not giving us any extra farm. We go for Ominous Wind, it doesn't take them out, it does very little damage actually. We shoot up the cross shot, can we make it to the Ominous Wind? No we can't, and they do take that game. So I do definitely think we did misplay that battle, but into the next battle, we see a Medicham in the lead. Can safely let this go through. Just going to be an Ice Punch. No, actually a Power Up Punch bait. Very odd decision by the opponent to bait a Ghost type without even farming up to a potential Psychic. The opponent now swaps into Electrode. We come in with our Barbaracle. What an odd decision by us now. And we are going to shield the discharge here, and I think we're just going to full send the Stone Edge here. Will the opponent respect the damage? They do, but we do grab the final shield, and they don't even go for the farm down, so that's quite nice for us actually. I think they did throw straight away, so now we can come in with our Shadow Sneasel, probably go for a full farm down, gonna have to use one shield, but... Wait, did we just get denied once again? This is really unfortunate if that's the case, and it looks like it was the case. They come in with a Lycanroc. We barely make it to the Avalanche before getting farmed down. Avalanche one-shots the Lycanroc. We come back in with our Misdreavus. We can now go for an Ominous Wind, and even though it's super effective, Ominous Wind still doesn't take out the Medicham, but we do get the farm down, and now we can go for another Ominous Wind into the Electrode, and this will be enough damage to take them out, and we take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Misdreavus into Hitmonchan, so another fighting type lead, so great lead to see. The opponent swaps into Altaria, we come in with our Sneasel, and we are doing absolutely huge damage with these Ice Shards. We shield up the Sky Attack there, we get the full farm down, and I don't think we even make it to 2 Avalanches here, so I do agree with just throwing it straight away. Avalanche grabs the shield, and yeah, we only live 1 counter there. So the opponent does get the farm down, and we can come back in with our Misdreavus. They do beat us to the charge move, but it's just going to be an Elemental Punch. It is a Fire Punch, and now they swap and catch a move onto a Charm Ninetales. We go for an Ominous Wind, we actually grab a shield, and that's massive for us, as now we can go for the Stone Edge, but we're actually going to let this move go through. I really like this play because this means that their Hitmonchan isn't going to get an awful lot of farm against our Barbaracle, so very nice play. We go for the Stone Edge, it takes out the Ninetales, and here they only get 2 counters worth of energy, so really good play by this trainer. We're now going to go for the Ominous Wind, and once again, it's not going to do that much damage into the Hitmonchan, but hopefully we can outpace them to the next charge move. It's actually going to be really close here. They go for the Fire Punch. Can we get there in time? Yes, we barely get there, and we can go for the Ominous Wind, and Ominous Wind takes out Hitmonchan. Of course, we get the boost. Of course we do when we've got literally 1 HP, and that's the end of the game, but we do take that game. And into the final battle of this submission, we lead into a Alolan Ninetales, so we're going to stay in this matchup, go straight for an Ominous Wind. I don't know why Alexa is shouting at me here, but we are going to be able to swap into our Barbaracle. The opponent goes for a Weather Ball bait, and we do call it. We're now going to go for a bait of our own. Honestly, not too risky here, as Cross Chop probably puts them into range where we could farm them down. But now we make it to the Stone Edge, and this Stone Edge will be enough damage to take out the opponent or grab the final shield, which we do. And now we're probably going to come back in with the Misdreavus, going to shield up this charge move, and then we should be able to make it to an Ominous Ominous Wind to take out the Ninetales, but not before they get us very low with this charm damage. That looked like it might have been a CMP tie. Ominous Wind takes out the Ninetales. We do get another boost. They come in with Venusaur. Can we make it to a Dark Pulse? Yes, we can. And with the boost, how much damage does it do? It nearly takes them out. We swap, and unfortunately we catch a charge move there instead of just letting the Misdreavus go down. That's really unfortunate, but what have they got in the back? They've got a Talonflame with Fire Spin of all fast moves here. We're going to go for the Avalanche, and Avalanche takes out the Talonflame, and we take that game. Alright, so going into the next submission, we see Shadow Weavile into Tapu Fini. Not a great lead, so we're going to say swap into our Shadow Nidoqueen, and we're met with Alola Ninetales. So double Fairy team so far, although both Fairies can hit for super effective damage with the fast moves and charge moves. We're now going to go for the Stone Edge. We are running double nukes, and Stone Edge takes out the Alola Ninetales. We do regain switch advantage, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. They come back in with the Tapu Fini, and we do barely make it to an Earth Power in time. As this Tapu Fini reaches the surf, we grab a shield, and it's actually a CMP tie as well, which is huge. We can now let the Nidoqueen go down, come in with our Gengar. The opponent did undercharge it to get extra farm, so good play by the opponent, but we don't want to get farm down, so we swap into Gengar, and they've got a third Fairy type in Galarian Weezing, so it's not looking too good for the Shadow Weavile in this first battle. We do once again throw on CMP. The opponent going to go for a brutal swing. It doesn't take us out, and Fairy Wind is resisted, does very little damage. They wouldn't have been able to farm us down before we got to another Shadow Punch, so we let it go down. We come in with our Shadow Weavile. We can now shield the potential overheat. It is the overheat. That's huge for us. They come back in with Tapu Fini. We're going to go for an Avalanche here, and this will get the Tapu Fini very low. We then swap, and we perfectly catch the second Surf. Huge for us. Surf takes out the Nidoqueen. We can now get the farm down, and we have an Avalanche to throw into the Galarian Weezing that comes back in. An Avalanche takes out the Weezing, and we take that game. So not a very Weavile friendly team there, but Weavile still managing to pull off the win. Into the next battle, this time Tapu Fini, we swap into our Gengar, and we do bait out Alola Muck. We do reach it to the Focus Blast, and this Focus Blast barely doesn't take them out there, and now we probably will have to respect the damage from a Dark Pulse. It is the Dark Pulse, but we do get the farm down, and once again flipping switch advantage in the mid-game matchup. We're now going to go for a Shadow Punch. We did farm up to a potential Shadow Ball, and that does allow us to grab a shield, and we throw on CMP, so really good charge move timing here from this trainer. We come in with the Weavile. They do make it to a charge move. We are going to let this move go through. It is the Ancient Power. It does a lot of damage. They then swap back into Tapu Fini. They're already at a Surf here, so probably going to shield up the first Surf, and with the Poison Jab damage, we should put them into range where an Avalanche will KO. We go for a Stone Edge here. Doesn't really matter what we throw. Both charge moves would take out the Tapu Fini from this range, but generally speaking, we should be going for Earth Power. Doesn't matter though. We can come in with the Weavile. We do make it to an Avalanche. Avalanche takes them out, and we barely make it to Avalanche number 2 into this Giratina, and that does take out the Giratina, and we take that game. Into the next battle, we see Shadow Galvantula in the lead, so a very spicy pick from this opponent, and we are going to go straight for an Avalanche here, predicting that this Galvantula would throw straight away, which they do, which is great for us because if they get a full Volt Switch through, that really isn't good for the Weavile, but we do win CMP, and once again, gonna go for that CMP tie, and the opponent does throw on CMP once again. So we grab both shields. At this point, we let the Weavile go down most likely, and that's what we're gonna do. Lunge does take us out. We actually come in with Gengar, so I was not expecting that. I would have thought we come in with Nidoqueen as we do completely wall it, but we bait out a Shadow Swampert. We go for the Focus Blast. It takes out the Swampert there, and we are now going to swap into our Nidoqueen straight away, and we're able to catch the potential lunge onto the Nidoqueen, and it is a lunge. It is resisted. We will be able to Poison Jab, farm down the opponent. They've got Giratina in the back. It's not over yet. This Giratina could overfarm massively, and that could be troublesome for the Gengar that we've got in the back. So let's see. We are going to let this move go through. They go for Shadow Sneak for some reason, even though it is the same damage as a Dragon Claw, but we now make it to the Stone Edge. Once again, should be going for Earth Power there. Not sure why we go for the Stone Edge, but that's fine. Gonna shield up the Dragon Claw, and we barely make it to the Shadow Punch. Looks like it's a CMP tie, but this Shadow Punch takes out the Giratina, and we take that game. Into the next battle, Shadow Weavile into Dragalge. So pretty decent matchup in terms of typing, but these Dragon Tails are really going to chunk the Shadow Weavile. We're going to go for that Avalanche straight away, grabbing the first shield, and if they go for a farm down, no, they're going to throw just before we make it to Avalanche number 2. So good timing by this opponent. We can now go for the second Avalanche, and this will probably grab a second shield from the opponent. It does exactly that, and now we can come in with our Gengar. We bait out a Greedent, and we're going to shield this up. All shields are now down, so now we can overfarm massively, farming to 100 energy, going for the Focus Blast against a normal type. Focus Blast takes them out, and let's see, the opponent's going to come back in with the Dragalge here, and they do, but we make it to a Shadow Punch just before they get to a charge move. Shadow Punch not going to do too much damage, and it looks like it's a CMP tie as well. They go for the Outrage that takes out the Gengar, but we should be able to get a farm down with the Nidoqueen. But no, we're going to overfarm massively, swapping into the Weavile, and the opponent, I think they just went for the farm down there, allowing us to get to a foul play. No, it actually is a CMP tie, so that couldn't have gone better for us. Really unfortunate for the opponent there, but now we can go for the Earth Power. Earth Power will be able to take out the Cresselia. They will make it to an Aqua Tail here, but it's not going to be enough damage to take us out, and we should be able to get to the Poison Jab farm down just barely and take that game. Into the next battle, we see a Shadow Kanto mark into our Shadow Weavile. Gonna stay in this matchup. These Poison Jabs are doing big damage. We've got two Pokemon in the back that do resist the Poison Jab damage, and actually double resist it, so honestly I think we should be swapping out here, but we're not going to. We're going to go for the Avalanche, and this will do big damage, and it does grab both shields very early on. So now we come in with our Gengar, going to shield this up, and it is a Dark Pulse, so good shield, and they come in with a Wall Rain. They're going to be able to barely make it to a charge move before we get to the Focus Blast, but it doesn't matter. Icicle Spear won't take us out. We're going to overfarm. Now we're going for that Focus Blast, and this will easily be enough, even with the undercharge, to take out the Wall Rain. And let's see, the opponent is going to come in with a Trevenant. They get the farm down, but now we can come in with our Shadow Nidoqueen, and we're going to go for the catch, but the opponent doesn't throw straight away. They do overfarm quite significantly. They go for a Seed Bomb, and now they can overfarm. They now go for a catch themselves, so good play by the opponent. They've probably banked a Shadow Ball at this range. We go for an Earth Power, going for the undercharge, but it doesn't work out, and they do have a charge move loaded. It is the Shadow Ball, and it does take us out, so good play by the opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Giratina, so pretty decent lead for us, although they are running Dragon Breath, which is really going to chunk this Shadow Weavile. Gonna go for that Avalanche straight away, and we do grab an early shield. And what you're seeing from these matchups is when we've got a good matchup or neutral matchup, Avalanche pretty much always grabs a shield. Now we're going to go for a foul play here, just in case they went for a catch. But the opponent doesn't go for the catch, and we do grab both shields from the opponent. We think we're going to make it to one final charge move before they get the farm down, and we do, but this time we go for the Avalanche, and they do make the catch. So really good play by the opponent, good play by us, predicting the catch on the second charge move, but it didn't come, and unfortunately it did come on that third move. We can now go for a Shadow Punch, taking out the Escavalier. They're going to come back in with the Giratina, but we make it to Shadow Punch number 2 before the opponent gets her charge move, and we take out the Giratina. They've got Cresselia in the back, and we are going to overfarm and then swap and catch the charge move onto our Nidoqueen, and it's just a Moonblast, and the opponent has probably just quit the app here, as the Moonblast does no damage and they're not attacking. So yeah, I think they just rage quit after that catch. Absolutely fine with us. We're going to overfarm massively, go for the Earth Power. This still won't be enough damage to take out the Cresselia, but it doesn't matter, they're not going to tap anymore. And now we can get the farm down up against the Cresselia and take that game. Into the next battle, we see Pidgeot in the lead, so great lead for us once again, and once again probably going to go straight for that Avalanche into the Pidgeot, throwing before they get to a Feather Dance. The opponent lets it go through. What? Why would you do that? I have no idea why they did that, but they're going to come in with Jellicent, and They're surely going to shield this up. No, they don't shield it up. Opponent, you've got shields, and you're actually able to use them, by the way. They go for a Shadow Ball, they swap into Registeel, and no shot they don't shield the Focus Blast here. No, I don't believe it if they do. They don't, what? And it's a Purified Registeel as well. Yeah, I'm speechless for this battle. I don't know what the opponent is thinking, but we're going to be able to just fully Shadow Claw, farm them down, and take that game. The opponent is obviously saving shields for next season. But into the final battle, another great lead for the Shadow Weavile. These are probably hand-selected battles here, but we're going to go for that Avalanche into the Guy Score, grabbing an early shield, and the opponent does farm to the Earthquake, so probably going to respect the damage, probably going to be a bait, and it is the bait, but might as well play it safe. Gonna go for the Avalanche here. Avalanche takes out the Guy Score. They come in with the Tapu Fini. We swap into our Gengar, and the opponent does make it to a Surf. So we're going to let this move go through, and we're going to overfarm, farming to a potential Sludge Bomb or Shadow Ball, which will threaten a shield. We get the final shield, and now we make it to another Shadow Punch. So if you don't have that Nuke Charge move, that would damage a Tapu Fini there. It's always good to overfarm anyways, to pretend like you might have it. Now they come in with Trevenant, we're going to come in with our Shadow Weavile, and we should be able to shield up this charge move and then overfarm just a little bit, go for the Avalanche here. We are one away from the back-to-back. Avalanche will easily be enough to take out the Trevenant. We make it to Avalanche number 2, and even though it's resisted, it will do big damage to the Tapu Fini. We swap, we get the snipe with the Nidoqueen, and we take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And as for my response, I'm going to go with Ice and Psychic. Currently we've got like Mr. Rhyme, I think, and Jinx that have that typing, and I'm pretty sure they only resist Ice and Psychic type damage, and everything else is either neutral or super effective, which is quite bad. But yeah, if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, that way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.